Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we're doing the crossword for Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. So, did you do the crossword?
I did the crossword, and the crossword did me in.
Really?
Well, it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But once I figured out the theme, that certainly made it easier.
Yeah, as is often the case, I'll figure out the theme and get the theme filled out, and then discover that there's still the rest of the crossword to solve.
Yeah, there were some challenging clues.
I was naticked to pronounce it correctly in two places, which wouldn't have affected you because 38 down nail polish brand was Opie.
Yep.
And I had OP, and for some reason I thought OPA, which would mean that 44 across the New Mexico's GILA National Forest was the New Mexico's GILA National Forest.
Right.
It should have been Opie and GILA.
That's right.
So I was naticked there. And then 23 down, another word that you would have gotten right away, usually dry stream beds, arroyos.
No, I didn't get that right away.
I'm surprised. But I bet you eventually spelled it correctly.
Yes, I did.
Because I had for 46 down, turn for the worse. And I was thinking, when you turn on someone, you sort of like rat them out. And so I had arroyos and rat. So,
I see.
So I had a problem there, and I had a problem with GILA. So I was sort of disappointed, but just the way it goes, I guess.
Yep.
It took me like 50 minutes to do this crossword.
Oh, my.
So hopefully you didn't spend as much time on it.
No, not quite. But I spent more time than I usually do on a Wednesday puzzle. But yeah. So anyway, the theme, we've seen these kinds of themes before, where they take some common phrase and they sort of twist it around so that it will answer the clue. And in this case, the phrases in the theme clues were all three-word phrases with the middle word being of.
Yes.
So the first one was 17 across, swim around, scare some people, ram a boat, and the answer to that was a life of Jaws rather than jaws of life.
Yes.
Then we had 22 across, good quality for a midwife, and that was love of labors, not labor of love. Then we had 37 across, what the world's largest piggy bank holds, and that was a fortune of change, not change of fortune. Then we had 51 across, heroes of the LGBTQ plus history, and that was Lions of Pride, rather than Pride of Lions. And then finally, 59 across, jacket sleeves, and that was arms of coat, not coat of arms. So that was a theme, and we have had other themes like that before, but it's been a while, so it didn't come to me right away. But eventually, I think it was Lions of Pride where I finally figured out what they were doing. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So then it made a lot of it easier.
Most of the time when I see a theme, I can't remember a predecessor. They're always so novel. But I do have a vague recollection of sort of swapping first and third words in a phrase.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's letters, Sometimes you swap letters.
So which one of these did you like the most?
Which do I like the most? I think the midwife one, love of labors. I thought that was funny.
I liked Lines of Pride, to be honest. I think that was pretty clever, too.
It was very clever, yes.
Arms of Coat, I'm a bit more ambivalent about, but it's got the job done. I did not know one down, Parks, whose cookbook Brave Tart won the James Beard Award.
It was Stella.
I take it you knew Stella?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
I'm surprised that I thought you knew all cooks and their cookbooks.
Nope.
Okay. What about, let's see, I'm trying to think if there was 13 down, only was none but.
Yes, that took me a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely correct, but
Oh, definitely, but it just, I was like, well, what could that be? I couldn't think of anything. So, 3 down. Like problems a school teacher might deal with. Behavioral.
yes.
That's a long word for a Wednesday.
And that was an interesting cluing of it.
That's right.
Let's see, what else did we have? We had, I mean, all sorts of places where I was unsure as to my answer. 47, or rather 48 across was turbine turner, and the answer was rotor. I started to doubt that at one point. 49 down was Whoopi's Oscar-winning role in Ghost, and I had Oda Mae. And I thought, well, maybe it would sound better as Ida Mae. But that would have meant it was rotier, and I don't think that has anything to do with turbines.
I couldn't remember if it was Odame or Oname or Odame or Olame. I remember, it was a two-word name, and it started with an O and ended in May, but I couldn't remember that it was Odame. But then once I got Lions of Pride, that D made it complete.
But I just somehow the name Ida calls out to me. Another name that I didn't recognize immediately, although it sort of sounded right, Blank Lazarus with a sonnet on the Statue of Liberty, and that was Emma Lazarus.
Yes.
For some reason, I wanted it to be Ezra.
Me too.
I think I was being influenced by the Z of Lazarus. But in any event. And then we had a, 66 across, Marriott competitor was Hyatt.
Nope. I didn't get 47 down. I'm so dense. Part of a club.
I think they meant sandwich.
Oh, of course. The answer was tomato. I'm like, huh? And then also one right next to it. I thought, is that a debut clue? 54 down. Mess with. It was futz.
Right.
I wanted to put putz, but then, of course, Lions of Pride would be Lions Up Pride.
Futz to me sounds right. I've used that word before. It has appeared a total of 8 times.
Okay.
The first time in 2002.
Okay.
And it's usually things like mess around with or tinker with.
Okay.
So it's definitely in the mainstream there. In fact, in terms of debut answers, we had a total of 7.
I know one. 28 down, I'm sure. Sculptures with moving parts. Example, kinetic art.
Now, what made you are correct, by the way, that is a debut. What made you think it was a debut?
Because I just have never seen that before. And, it's a relatively new type of art form. It's, not something they did in the Renaissance per se very much. But
they didn't have those little moving displays with a marble rolling down along the track.
Oh no!
Okay.
Those Alexander Calder sculptures that kind of move in the wind.
That kind of kinetic art. Okay.
More contemporary.
I was thinking of the kind of art with that ball that moves along a track and hypnotizes, bystanders so that people can walk by and pick their pockets. It's really a very interesting concept.
That's kinetic too.
Most of the themed answers were debuts: Arms of Coat, Lines of Pride, Fortunes of... Right, yeah, I mean, you'd expect that.
Yep.
Let's see, what else was new here?
I ended up at 55 across. Verdi's next opera after Aida, and it was Otello.
Oh.
I didn't know.
I had a couple of letters, and then I recognized the name. I didn't recognize its historic significance, but at least I knew the spelling of it. Yeah, I ended up at Arroyos.
Oh, yes.
Because I had to go from rat to rot. I still think rat was the better answer. But let's see. We had a couple of obvious ones. Chicago or Oklahoma. 58 across was musical.
That's right.
And
with Aunt Eller. I remember in Oklahoma. That was a clue
in
the one puzzle. That was the only clue I got.
Right, the old Sam Izersky murderous Saturday crossword. I remember it well. For 7 down, postpone, I put down delay.
Oh, me too.
And it turned out to be defer.
Right.
Had to back up quite a few squares to get that straightened out.
Yep. Yep.
So, all right. Well, I think that's probably it for today.
Okay.
So thanks everyone for listening. We hope you are enjoying these podcasts and welcome your feedback at crosswordpodcast@icloud.com.
Yep.
That's it for today. We'll be back again with our cutting edge analysis of tomorrow's crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.